Let's get to Tory. Let's get all the newsy, depressed.
Yeah.
I really want
Let's get all the niggas ain't shit news out of the way. What's the name of that group? Unite something. Some group.
Sounds like a Mark question.
Mark don't know because he's Team Meg, so he ain't checking for nothing. So no group trying to help Tory get out. But anyway, some attorneys came forward and said that Kelsey's bodyguard during the trial overheard some things. And
Unite the people.
There you go. Unite the people. Thank you, Freeze. Unite the people came forward to say that Kelsey's bodyguard during the trial came forward to say that he couldn't sleep any longer, knowing that an innocent man was in jail, and that he overheard conversations of Kelsey claiming that she was the person to fire that weapon and shoot, yada, 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 yada. That's what we got.
Doesn't that qualify as hearsay? And why is he just talking about it now? Like, I'm just so confused.
He didn't want to protect her anymore, he said.
I'm over it. I'm sorry.
It's ridiculous.
And all right, so again, he was not charged with shooting her.
But he was charged with assault with a semi-automatic firearm, discharging a firearm.
He was basically charged with shooting.
Negligence. So what I'm saying is that, Freeze, if his fingerprints was not on the firearm, then that means that these charges should be dropped or shouldn't be filed in the first place. If his fingerprint was not on the firearm, that means that he didn't assault with a semi-automatic firearm and he didn't discharge a firearm with gross negligence.
Yeah, everything that Flip said. Also on the last day of the trial, his bodyguard was supposed to take the stand, but due to somebody saying prosecution saying they would need more time with him, which would delay things, Tory and them chose for the bodyguard to not hit the stand. I think that was a grave mistake, one. Also, all of this coincides with the reporting from the neighbor that was not allowed, which said I saw two girls tussling. She fired off and a man came and yada, yada, yada. So I don't think that this helps Tory, but it's funny how when it's the man that's the victim and trying to protect a black woman, nobody gives a fuck if he goes to jail for 10 years and is railroaded. But I learned that 3-4 years ago, post-pandemic, about y'all, so I don't even talk about it no more. But a lot of people with a brain thought that it was more likely that two chicks found out they was fucking the same nigga and one of them shot the other one versus two chicks found out they were fucking with the same dude and the dude shot one of them in the foot. Do with that what you will. He's away. I don't think he's coming home.
Yeah,
that's what I got for you there.
This is what I say. To the first point, I agree. He wasn't charged with assault with a deadly weapon, but he was charged and convicted of possession of a weapon, discharging a weapon, and assault with the weapon.
But that wasn't his weapon, and some people know that.
Yeah,
and it don't have to be his weapon to catch those charges. You know that.
Say that again?
It didn't have to be his weapon to catch those charges.
Yeah, I'm not saying it was his weapon.
Okay, but I'm railroaded if whoever's weapon it was has immunity.
That's a different point.
I'm railroaded if that happens. We just always ignore the railroad, not saying that means not guilty. I'm just talking about a railroad. A railroad means I should get a retry.
On what basis? I'm just trying to follow.
Well, Tory was arguing that his representation was incompetent.
Oh, that's a different issue. Yeah.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
I support due process. I want him to get as many
Tory's
trials.
going to find. It's his job now, right, to find as many reasons to try to get a new trial as possible.
Yeah. I find here's what I have found that the people who defend Tory Lanez have passionately misrepresented what happened in that courtroom and what the evidence was. And for me, when I hear more information, I always have to double and triple check it, not because I have an investment in who goes to jail or not, but because I've just not found it to be credible. In the case of this person who overheard somebody saying that they did something, I can't say he's lying or not. It's hard for me to believe, though, that this person is just coming forward now, and it's hard for me to believe that Tory Lanez never explicitly said on trial, Kelsey shot the weapon.
He fucked himself.
And it's hard for me to...
Actually, he said the opposite.
It's hard for me...
She did not.
Right. So now, for this new person to be telling the truth, it means that Tory had to have lied about who the real shooter was.
Which he could say, I was under the instructions from my counsel, which was poor counsel.
Right. Or sometimes things are what they look like. And so it's hard for me to believe that he sat there on trial knowing he was looking at 10 years, knowing who the shooter was, seeing the shooter, being there with the shooter, and not only didn't identify the shooter, but said the opposite. Said that wasn't the shooter. That seems implausible to me. The outside person notwithstanding. I'm not one of those people that only wants to listen to. I've been fighting for Mumia Abu-Jamal's liberation since 1980. And people have come forward and said, I was the shooter. I saw the shooter. And I've heard people reject our claims because they say, why would somebody come later? I'm not that person that says just because it ain't my person, I won't listen to them. That's not my point.
I've been fighting for 35 years for justice for Roddy Piper, nigga.
It's not going to happen. As long as he wears that skirt, it ain't happening.
Died. Rest in peace.
No, I'm talking shit right now, of course. But
you
I
see
understand what Mark is saying.
Yeah, so I'm not like fuck that guy because I'm Team Meg. It's not that. It just doesn't. It doesn't fit to me logically. It doesn't fit with what I think would happen.
I disagree with that, but I do agree he didn't do himself favors. Why he didn't do himself favors?
Even prior to the trial, he didn't do himself favors. He just he made a lot of
the first phone
steps,
call,
bro.
Like the first.
I get that first phone call.
Honestly, it's a lot of incriminating shit. Gunpowder.
Everybody, slow down.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm gonna say, I have not seen one person ever go to jail for 10 years for shooting aground and grazing someone. I felt the sentence was longer than the crime.
Who's the woman that shot up in the?
Marissa Alexander. She actually ended up hitting somebody though. But
What's that?
Are you talking about Shine? I didn't hear who you were
No,
talking
no,
about.
no, the woman.
Marissa Alexander, the woman who shot
woman.
the warning shot in the ceiling, and there's a whole thing.
I would just say I don't think the crime. So I think my point is this: I don't think Tory thought they're gonna give me 10 years for a cut on the foot. I really don't think he thought that. I thought it was the same thing. Like, yo, we had some friends, shit went bad. We celebrities, so we know better now because shit blew up. And now it's like, nigga, I'm doing 10 years.
And I like both these girls. I like both the girls, not me. I'm saying him. I have relationships with both of these women. I don't want to see if there's a way for all of us to get out of this scot-free. Then I'd rather that option. I just think that they turned on him faster than he realized, and he never caught up. Yeah. But do I believe that Tory Lanez shot Meg? I've said this a million times already, so y'all don't need me to say it again.
I'm confident that he did. I'm not a big prison person, as y'all knows. I don't know if 10 years is the right sentence. I would say it isn't.
That's what I was asking.
I would say it isn't.
Like 3 years feels like fair, but 10,
I think there's a lot of ways to resolve this. I don't know if putting him in a cage for 10 years.
But why do you think it's more plausible that Tory did it versus Kelsey?
Based on the witnesses, based on the fact that he said
the witnesses that they allowed.
I'm talking about him. He said Kelsey didn't do it.
Yeah.
Okay. But are you talking about the witnesses that they allowed, including himself?
Yes. I'm talking about everybody.
Or are you talking about what everybody's initial plan was, which was, hey, let's find the neighbor, let's let that person testify, and let's let the only other person that was there, the bodyguard, testify. You're not looking at that.
I'm looking
because they didn't hit the stand.
I'm looking at all the evidence we've had access to, and I'm saying,
what did your Philadelphia brain tell you?
My
I don't do well when we start talking in court TV.
Right, take all the legal shit off the table.
Yeah.
My gut, just on some hood shit, is I think he shot the gun. I think he was drunk. I think he did some wild shit. I suspect Meg and Kelsey had some other shit going on. I know they got into some kind of physical argument. There could be more messiness. Put it like this. I think there's more messiness to this case than the court proceedings would suggest. But at the end of the day, I feel very confident that he shot that gun.
Yeah, but that didn't answer my question.
Oh, well, you from outside, and you know
like that.
A lot of things aren't
he
what
had
they
gunpowder
seem.
on his hands.
He could have been fighting to get the gun from her and got the gunpowder on his hands.
I don't know.
She could have got out, shot that gun. Oh shit! Give me! What are you doing? Give me!
Nothing. No one got.
Like
really
I don't think he was gunpowder. Nothing about him says he would let that happen and then say she ain't doing it on the stand.
If I'm trying to protect everybody,
I don't see it.
See, and that's where it's
I
tough.
find the niggas fold under that kind of pressure and they don't actually.
No, but
they're not
that's
that
because
solid.
they know like if you got bad representation, and they're telling you, yo, we can beat this, boom, 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 boom. All right, cool. She's gonna make it out. She's gonna make it out, and then I'll be fine.
I don't care
all right, bet.
if your lawyer's Ernest J. Fry. I don't care who you got the worst lawyer ever. You are not going to tell your client. We have exculpatory. We have the shooter. You saw the shooter. We know the shooter. Say not only don't snitch, but also say that wasn't the shooter. Even the worst lawyer in the world ain't doing that. That's all I'm saying.
But that's false. That's not true. His attorney could have very well been saying to him, like many people were saying publicly at the time, I think we got this covered. I don't think we even need the testimony of your bodyguard. I think with some of the findings of the gun residue and all this shit.
Because Joe, you remember
that would explain why he doesn't snitch on her. That doesn't explain why he would deny that he would actually effectively perjure himself to put himself in the crime, not out of the crime.
Well, because the story that he
put that shit on an Instagram comment. He perjured himself. He just literally was replying to somebody. Again, I'm trying to keep this shit clean and keep it off everybody. Yo, that was not true. No, she did not. She didn't do that.
Can I tell you, Mark?
Not realizing what the implications of that was going to be.
That's an interesting point.
I think a mistake. I think a gunner. I think regardless of what happened, I think a gunner went off. No one really got hurt. Everybody's going to be fine. And then the other emotional things occurred, and that's what really drove him to go to jail. I think that if they was all still friends and it was a mistake, it would have been like, no, we don't know what happened. And to me, that was my only problem. Like
I think that's true,
you wanted to go at the ground, you wanted to put him in, even though, mind you, maybe an inch over somebody would have been dead, but it wasn't. So at that moment, it should have been like, well, it was a bad mistake. Let it go. Sentence probation, but 10 years?
I think 10 years is way too much.
I think on his side, they thought they were coming up with a story where everybody would be okay.
Yeah.
And
reasonable doubt.
It didn't. Yeah.
All we got to do is prove reasonable doubt.
That we don't know what happened, so we can't
even her getting the immunity would be part of the reasonable doubt.
Exactly.
And what I think happened was
why she needed immunity. That should tell y'all something right there.
And
that's when I would have folded on her.
It's true.
And the second she got immunity, I would have folded on her.
Yep.
Unless she didn't do it. Then you can't fold.
If she didn't do it, I'd still fold on her.
Oh, you said,
The fuck are you talking about? I'm trying to save my ass here. The only other person that could have did it.
Some niggas gotta keep it real, as they say.
Yes, I'm saying. I think that's what it comes down to.
Keeping it real goes wrong.
What would have happened to his reputation if he would have basically snitched at a girl?
Exactly.
Like he might not have a career. It's like it's a trick bag no matter what for him.
New Joe Budden.